It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, I thought we would talk a little bit about what I learned about railroading, I guess, this weekend. I got a whole new perspective on it. I saw a different side of it I haven't seen before, and I thought I'd just share a little bit. I only have 3 photos, but anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting, so I'll share about that. And then I thought I would get into some of my JMRI setup. They were talking about Operations Pro on Crooked River and Eastern's live stream on Tuesday night, last night for On Track Tuesday. And I thought I would just step through some of the things that I'm doing to manipulate the operations in JMRI, and maybe some people can share some ideas that they have as well. I was considering doing a giveaway at the end of the show, but Wigwag Workshop told me that he didn't want me to do a giveaway tonight, so unfortunately, thanks to Wigwag, it looks like we won't be doing a giveaway. I guess unless people can convince him otherwise. Today's been quite the day, though, I gotta say. You know, some days at work are just those kind of days that you're glad when they are over. I still have some stuff potentially going on with work in the background, but hopefully that won't disturb us too much, and we can get through the show without a lot of drama, as if that ever happens. So let's talk about this railroading thing. I went over to let me start over. Start the story over, rewind, go back. I got invited to an operations session over the weekend, And it's to a layout that I enjoy going to, but I find it very stressful to operate at. And I think a lot of it is just that I am new to that layout, and it can be kind of a complicated layout to operate on. But because it was Memorial Day weekend, if I went to rent a car, it was just crazy expensive to rent a car. And I just didn't want to rent a car to go to the op session, but I was able to hitch a ride with two people that I know in the community around here who are kind of passing through my area. So I was able to jump in a ride with them, but in order to go on a ride with them, they were going exploring after the op session. And like, I kind of got what they were doing. Like, I've seen like rail fanning videos and stuff online, and like, I thought I understood this kind of like, you know, going out and you know, like watching trains or whatever. But we actually didn't see any trains. We saw one train, although it was so dark you couldn't even see the train. But it was very interesting to go out kind of rail fanning, but not looking for trains, but looking for where the industries and the trains used to be. Adam, it's actually funny that you say that, because my girlfriend called me up when we were in the car, and she's like, "Why are you in Pennsylvania?" And I explained, like, well, you know, I hitched a ride. We're going to just, you know, go check out some railroading stuff. Like, everything's good. Like, I wasn't abducted by aliens or anything fancy like that. But she was wondering what the heck was going on. I wouldn't say I'm a foamer. It was more about, I never got like the history of railroading. Like, there are some people, the two people that I went with are really into the history of railroading and the history of railroading in this area. And we were driving down the road, and we'd go under a bridge, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's the Lehigh Valley. Oh, that's the CNJ. Oh, that's, you know, oh, that's where this one intersected with this one." And like, they knew the history of the various railroads that used to use that trackage. And it was just, it was just completely new to me, this idea of kind of like knowing, oh, like, that's an abandoned bridge, but like 40 years ago, that used to be X, Y, and Z. So one of the guys that was with us printed out some maps of the Allentown area, and we went to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and we explored one of the branch lines. It actually wasn't a road trip with Andy, but I would imagine that Andy is very similar, very, very similar in that way. And Container Man, honestly, I mean, I live on the Northeast Quarter, so like, I know some about the area, but I didn't come to model railroading really from the prototype. I didn't grow up around freight trains. I grew up around model trains. My dad actually had Lionel trains, was, you know, the first trains he had. And then I got, I think, like an HO set or an N scale set or something. But it's always been about model trains for me, about like the modeling, the laying the track, the wiring stuff up. So what was interesting about this trip is we were, you know, driving down the road, looking at the old maps of where the tracks used to be, looking for the old buildings that were no longer rail-served buildings, but had various markers that identified them as rail-served buildings. And you started kind of like picking up on things like, you know, big doors at a certain height. And, you know, some buildings had like really weird like cuts out of the edge of them, as if like when the track was curving, they built the building, you know, right into the curve of the track. And we started like seeing these and noticing these things, and there was one retaining wall that apparently used to be an area that they stored coal, and you could actually see the coal on the, you know, on the wall. It was discolored. But one of the first things that we found is we were driving past this one building, and it was identified as a building that used to be rail served. And one of the guys in the car goes, "Hey, there's a bumper." And we're all like, "What?" So kind of the person driving turns around, goes and drives into the parking lot, and we're kind of looking, and you know, myself and the driver are like, "We don't see any bumper." And he's like, "No, no, no, around the corner, around the corner." So we got around the corner and along the side of this building, and I kind of wish I would have taken like a establishing shot so you kind of got where this was in the world, but this bumper was just sitting there on the side of the building. There's no track. You can kind of see the, you know, the hump of where the track was, but we only kind of found this bumper because we were looking at the maps as we were exploring the area. And it was just really kind of cool to see it. And yeah, I mean, Containerman, I'm sure you've seen a lot of, you know, a lot of things out there on the road. But like we never would have found this if we weren't specifically looking for it. The other things we were kind of looking for, we were looking for like where the tracks used to possibly cross a river. And, you know, a lot of what we did was in the car driving around, but we did get out every once in a while as well. But we were driving past, and again, this guy very good at spotting stuff. He goes, "Hey, there's a trestle bridge." So we park the car, we get out of the car, we walk to the back of this park, and we found this trestle bridge. And this is in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and this is an old abandoned railroad trestle. There was no track on it. It was just the ties, and it, you know, ran across this river here, and we kind of I did not see a van down by the river. We were not in a van. We were in a like a hatchback. But no, it was just kind of like we found this kind of near the end of the day, kind of close to sunset. One of the last things we actually explored. And as we were coming back out of the park, I was following this berm that was made, this basically hump of dirt that this trestle basically kind of ended at this hump of dirt, and then that hump of dirt kind of you know, went down to match the rest of the park, the elevation of the park. But I noticed, or at least I started noticing, there were still railroad ties buried in the dirt. We did find one piece of rail. I of course didn't take a picture of that, but the trestle bridge is up here in the back behind these trees, and we basically found all the ties, and there were ties that went all the way out to the road. And it was just neat. Like, we weren't standing at some railroad intersection waiting for a train to go by. We were actually exploring history, you know, exploring where these trains used to run. And I wish I could remember the name of the branch line. I'm just terrible at that stuff. I believe it was like the Lehigh and Susquehanna, or I do know there was some C&J passenger trains. Yeah, it was essentially ghost rail fanning, like finding old railroad ties in a park with no railroads anywhere near it. And you know, finding this bumper on the side of a building with no railroad tracks anywhere in this area anymore. I mean, even there was no main line. This was just a branch line. So it was just kind of neat. So I don't know if anybody else is into that kind of stuff, but I thought it was fun, and you know, that was kind of my weekend. I did take some 360 videos. I was trying to get them. They're very large, and they didn't quite download, and I can't show those yet, but I do have some 360 videos out there that I'll try and show. Some of it's kind of interesting. I think some of it's kind of, you know, who knows. Did you find a spike for Thomas More? Didn't find any spikes. The closest thing I found to any sort of old railroad metal was there were some really long bolts that were holding some of these wood pieces together, and one of them was over here where we were standing to take this picture. There was one over by the side, but didn't find anything else. Yes, sorry. I read this, and then I read Ed's comment, and then I was going to respond to Roy, and I got confused. My understanding is a lot of the rail would have been pulled up because the metal was valuable. So from what we saw, there was very little rail. We did find some rail embedded in asphalt and stuff like that, but I think it just started raining. I can't tell. But we didn't find a lot of rail. Yeah, Ed, I would have loved to have come to the op session on Saturday. It was just it was just a tough weekend to try and get transportation out there. The same people that I operated with on Sunday that drove me were originally gonna go on Saturday and then decided not to go anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, Paul, I agree as well. I love when you, at least in New York, sometimes you'll find a cobblestone street with some rails going through it. I mean, a perfect example in New York City, of course, is the High Line, where they actually preserved a lot of the track and built it into the park. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Speaking about water, I just saw a video where Tammy was making some water. I was watching that while I was doing some other things and whatnot. So what should we do next? I don't know how many people are going to be interested in this JMRI Ops Pro stuff. I'm really interested in it. I think, you know, I'm enjoying the operations world, and I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Ed, I didn't want to call him out, but yeah, Jim Schweitzer and Joe Gregory were the two people that I was exploring with on Sunday, and Jim was kind enough to pick me up on his way through, because Jim's out in Long Island, where we were operating was out in Jersey, so he kind of passed through the city, and I was able to jump in with him. Oh, that's neat. I don't remember what town you're in, but that's really cool that they still have the rail and going down the main street. The work here at Broadway Station for the new highway entrance of the 16-mile rebuild has uncovered original Denver trolley rails. That's pretty. What are they doing with them? They pull them out and send them to one of the Colorado Railroad museums? Because that's what I would want to. That's what I would want to see. So let's jump into it. We'll see how many people I lose, how quickly everybody runs for the door. I'll try and make it as interesting as possible. Oh, right into the bin. You could have they probably could have cut them up into like little foot sections and sold them for like $200 a piece to a bunch of a bunch of rail fans or, you know, model railroaders even, or any of that nonsense as well. So here's my JMRI screen. I have hidden, or not hidden, but closed down here. I do have all of my panels. One day maybe we'll talk a little bit about the panels. I've really been enjoying building the panels in the tablets. What I find is that, like, when people have come over and operated the layout and they've made, you know, comments about stuff, being able to edit the panel and not have this be a fixed element, I think has worked out pretty well. So if anybody's considering it, I say give it a try. It's not the easiest thing to do, especially things like this double crossover that I have right here. We can actually punch in a little bit, and let me move this over. So this double crossover was, you know, a little trickier, but, you know, I like being able to see, you know, you can see the routes, and it makes things like really obvious for the operators where the train's gonna go, and I think it was a lot of fun. If it's anything like the rail they found buried over here, it's mainly a stick of rust. Ah, interesting. That would make sense. Yeah, 1/3 rusted out. Oh, that's a shame. Derek, you don't have to like me to hit the thumbs up. You can actually hit the thumbs up and completely detest me. There are many people that detest me but still support what I'm up to. And before I forget, because I'm going to forget, let me run the thank you message. Just updated today right before the show. So these are the people that are either Patreon members or YouTube channel members that help support this crazy hobby that we're up here talking about today, and allow me to, you know, hold space to have this conversation and hang out on a Wednesday night at 9:22 p.m. Derek, if you're trying to butter me up, you and Wigwag have been doing a fantastic job this evening. So after I built all of these panels, the next thing that I started to figure out was, how am I going to move all of this stuff around the layout? And what I'm showing you right now is the beginning of the last step. And I say that because, oh, Cameron, we can always count on you. I find it interesting, Wigwag. Like, nobody in the chat had, well, not nobody. Roy made a comment, but Roy didn't say, like, you know, we should do the giveaway in spite of Wigwag. He just said, Wigwag, who are you to tell Heath what to do? But so nobody wants to do a giveaway. It's fine. So let's get back over here. So this is the last step in Ops Pro. This is building the trains. This is actually creating the train that's going to move stuff around the layout. So before you even get here, we got to just close that out, because that's not where you start. Operations Pro has its own little drop down up here in the corner. There are 6 different menus: settings, locations, cars, locomotives, routes, and trains. If you do them in this order, it's a good order to follow. It'll kind of help get you started. If you think you might be interested in operations, what I like about Ops Pro is you can put some stuff into it and it'll just randomize the car movement for you. So you don't have to figure out like exactly how everything's gonna move. You can just kind of like, you know, throw a bunch of stuff in the kitchen sink, hit a couple buttons, and it'll tell you stuff to do. Well, Tammy, I don't know if there's a giveaway because Wigwag kind of convinced everybody earlier not to do one. So we'll have to see. So Ops Pro, there is this settings window here. It lets you set a bunch of things, the scale, the name of the layout, what your maximum train length is. This is something that I have come back to, and like I kind of edit it as I go. You don't necessarily, outside of really putting in the scale, you don't necessarily need to figure out exactly what to put in this window. I guess I could punch into it a little bit here so people can see a little bit better. But it's the general settings specifically for Operations Pro. Actually, I think tonight's giveaway, the one that I'm thinking of, is actually going to be the smallest of everything. I didn't update it, but we did give away all of the Late Night Hobbies kits. There might be some more coming, though. I know he's working on releasing his first N-scale kit. So that will be coming soon, and we will do a giveaway when that pops up on the website. But that's not what I'm thinking about giving away tonight. Oh, that's really awesome, Adam. That's really cool. I usually say I have a problem, and it's usually because I've purchased a bunch of stuff. I'm happy to report I don't think I bought anything railroad related in the last week and a half or so since the last op session. I got a magazine in the mail. I got a 3D printed piece I was waiting for in the mail that Roy Eltham sent me so that I could finish up my car float. But yeah. So I think this might be Otter Creek. I'm not sure if it's Otter Creek, but based on this comment, I'm thinking that it could be him. Yeah, I know, David. I am shocked. I am shocked myself as well. They sold for the $75, the minimum bid. Howdy, what did I miss? How long did it take you to get a snack and come back? Excuse me as I cough a little bit over here. Andy, you know, you missed my story earlier, and I'm not going to go through it again, but people were commenting that it sounds like something you would have been interested in. Essentially, we went to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and explored some old railroad stuff. Okay, but he's still not admitting that it's Otter Creek, but I think it is. Two more feeders and his layout is done. Walk the dog. It's always about the dog. So first stage is doing some of the settings. So you can play around with this. You know, that is, while it is the first step, it's probably not the most important step. What is probably much more important, though, is actually setting your locations. And I just realized that I wanted to bring up something else for a second here. Just to talk about the locations for a second. And what I'm doing is I'm going to my website. Going in here. This is the layout. If people have never seen it, this is what it looks like. This is the whole thing. I am standing over here in this corner right now. So, you know, that's directly behind me there. But when building out my locations, I came up with a story, and then I looked at all of the different areas on the layout. And then after, I don't know what's going on with Dennis tonight. I think he's maybe lost his mind. He's being very confusing. Derek, you didn't try fishing. There was some fishing line there, though, that I almost got myself wrapped in, but none there. So first thing I did is broke all of the areas down into smaller areas, worked on the wiring plan, obviously, and everything. But once I had these down in smaller areas, I was able to kind of figure out the locations, figure out all the different tracks that I want to set. One of the things that was interesting, though, that I really had to kind of, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work yet, but what I did for like Selkirk Yard is that, so this is the north yard on the layout. If we go back to here, this is this, let's make this a little bigger. These three tracks back here are the northernmost point of my layout, probably because it's a lot of work. If you could get, this is a good one. If you can get AI to look out the layout and program a JMI, you'd be a little rich. Yeah, I wish. So the staging yard, oh, actually, I can show you the staging yard. The staging yard's right here. So I've got all these cars here on the staging yard. This one's off the track, of course. But I've got three tracks back here. But I will get to that. My maximum train length is 8 cars long. But on each of these staging tracks, I can have about 16 cars. So I was trying to figure out how to manipulate Operations Pro so that when I was pulling trains out of staging, it would only allow me to pull 8 cars at a time. And the thing with JMRI and staging is that however the cars go in, that's how the cars go out. JMRI does not move cars in staging. So in order to account for that, what I actually did is instead of just 3 tracks, I split it up, and there's actually 6 tracks. And there is a setting in JMRI that I learned about that says that you can select which track you want. When you're building a train, you could select which track in staging you want to pull it from. So that allows me to know, there's a train on track 1, so I can't pull out track 2 because track 2 is behind track 1. So already, I guess what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to manipulate the various locations based on my op scheme. And this is something that's changed a lot. It's probably changed the most, is this this sort of thing here of what I am calling and how I am creating the different sections. If people are more interested in this, Jason the Train Freak actually has some really good intro to Ops Pro videos. So if you want to kind of know the basic and get some things kind of set up, his videos are a good place to look. Andy Step was, I just realized I wasn't screen sharing. Andy Step was asking me, Selkirk, not Croton Harmon. If we punch in here, you might be able to make out. So Selkirk Yard is the northernmost point, and then Croton Harmon Yard is the other yard. So on my layout itself, this back here is Selkirk, and this is farther north. and then this here is Croton Harmon, and then that over there is Croton on Hudson, which really confused Andy the last time he was here. So Selkirk up north, Croton Harmon, which is up north but closer to the city, and so on and so forth. So how steep is the learning curve for JMRI? It depends. It depends on what you want to do with it and how much control you want to have. So I started out setting up JMRI just to basically randomize things. Like, I didn't care at all, like, you know, what was really happening. I just wanted something to create some car movement on the layout. And as I then started doing that and started running trains, I was able to then go in and kind of start manipulating it as well. Yeah, so one of the things on my layout is you do kind of have to read the tablets and stuff. Everything is now labeled now, though. And even with everything labeled, certain people still had a hard time. But, you know, yeah, I know. Yeah, so I guess it's a little hard to answer that question, Bernard from Mini Prints, about the learning curve for JMRI, because there are various aspects of JMRI that you could learn, right? So Panel Pro is one of the main ones. There's Operations Pro, there's Decoder Pro, and I think there might be one other one as well. But Decoder Pro is primarily for storing and setting up your various locomotives. So this is the roster that I have. This roster lives independent of your locomotive list in Operations Pro. I don't know why, but that's the way it works. Oh, there you go. You know, Dennis, if you were on your other channel, people would be able to go find your videos and then be able to, you know, go see what you're up to. So I got started with JMRI through Decoder Pro. I find Decoder Pro the easiest way to program a locomotive. It converts all of the random CVs and numbers into plain names and stuff. So it just makes it easier to configure. So this was my entry into JMRI. So I started here. Once you get into this, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this about JMRI, but a lot of it has been fairly intuitive for me. But anything that has not been intuitive, the intuitive part is what I can't believe I'm going to say about JMRI. JMRI has many layers to it. JMRI is like an onion. It was developed like an onion. It's just got layers and layers and layers of stuff. The key for me in JMRI was to use the parts I wanted to use and ignore the parts that I didn't want to use. So I started just with the roster, and that's all I used JMRI for, was the roster. Then I did a little bit of Ops Pro a while ago and decided I didn't really... I eventually want to go to car cards and waybills. It's where I want to end up. But for where I'm at now, Ops Pro is doing me well. But it's something I tried a couple years ago, something that I'm getting into now. But the second thing I really started working on was all of these panels. And I really just, I mean, I'm trying to find, let's see. What is this one? Oh, that's that. Let's see, where's the, here, we can look at this one. So like here's my main panel. It's probably have to punch out a little bit. Okay. So here's the main panel that has the whole layout on it. And it literally has every turnout, everything. When you click the button here, it clicks the button there. I really like the digital panel. Some people don't. I do not like touch screens for running my trains, but I like the touch screens for switches and stuff. So scale models, who I believe is Rich, if I'm not mistaken. Coming from an IT guy, I used JMRI ops. Now I roll dice. Yeah. Rolling dice is a great way. Using playing cards is a great way. Microsoft Excel as well. I'm doing a couple of things. If we have time, I can get into it, but yeah. So Mike says he received excellent support from the development team last week when doing any rail imports. When you, ooh, there we go. When you get stuck with JMRI, there is a groups.io list, as well as there's actually a Facebook group as well, I think, but I primarily go to the groups.io list. When you post a question, the person that responds to you in a lot of cases is the person that actually did the work. Did the programming, so they understand it in a way that the instructions can't. One of the other things that I use the groups.io for is I say, here's what I want to do. Can you send me a link for the page in the manual that deals with this thing? And I've gotten some really great links to things that I'm specifically interested in that I wasn't just able to find on my own. I do agree. Model train review says tactile interface, actual buttons has its advantages. I'm using a Stream Deck right now to control this stream. I love having the Stream Deck. I don't know if you can, let's see, maybe in this one, can you see it? You can kind of see it right here at the bottom of the screen. So I have a Stream Deck here. I love this because of the tactile buttons. I would not want to have a touch screen for this purpose, but that's because I'm not really looking at it, right? For operating the layouts, though, what I tried to do is make the information, or not put a lot of information on each tablet. Didn't always work. Sometimes it worked better than others, but I tried to put like enough information that would help you know where the different industries were. And this is actually not the latest. This is the latest. So this one here is the latest for this area. And you can kind of see, right? Like I went from this version to this version. And this version is much cleaner, much easier to read. Things are labeled a lot better. And I think, Andy can tell you, I think the tablets work pretty well for the purpose in which I am using them, which is only for, well, not only. Primarily they're used for turnout control, but I'm also using them for feedback. Meaning that when there is a train that is occupying this rail, that section is going to light up as occupied. And while that might not be as important on like the tablets here, because you could obviously see the trains are there, if you were the dispatcher and this is the panel you were seeing, you would also see that section light up. So a lot of it's more for the dispatcher, but it's also for the operator. I have a lot of issues telling, sometimes I get confused and I look at a switch for like 5 minutes and then I throw the switch in the opposite direction and it was correct that I didn't need to throw it. And I only find out because I derail the car that I was just trying to run through that switch. So for me, I like having this information that makes it, really clear. You know, if I want to run up the, up the ladder, you gotta line everything up to run it up the ladder, and just to be able to see that. Man, that would be awesome, right? I mean, if we could get a profile in here now. That said, I am doing some stuff with MQTT, which is a home automation protocol in JMRI that I am also able to control on the Stream Deck. So there will be aspects of the layout that I will be able to control with the Stream Deck. It's funny that you say that because yes, I do. I overthink things, but I really I enjoy the process of overthinking things. I enjoy the process of, figuring things out. Derek, I'm on Windows 11, actually on all my computers now. My work computer was on Windows 10 until Monday morning. Monday morning I came in and it was on Windows 11. My streaming computer is Windows 11. I have... This computer here is a Mac, but I have a PC as well for JMRI that is also on Windows 11. So, yeah, I've switched everything to 11, and it's they work pretty well. See, Andy says they work great for the purpose. So the other thing that I made, Andy said the double slips are definitely one of the hardest things. So I made up this, which is actually, it's hanging up here. It's up on the fascia, and it is a tablet that only has the double slips on it, and it has them really big. Now, if you look right here, here's the double slip that's also here. So when I click this button, this one does change. So you can see it here, but it's bigger and it's easier to see here. So for all of us that have a hard time with double slips, this is my solution so that I stop derailing on double slips. I will eventually build some routes and all that kind of stuff, but for now everything is just single buttons. But yeah, Andy says he's got problems. I got solutions as well. Yes, so I'm not going to post it up here because it is actually live, but I have it set up where you can, well, basically you can log in and bring up this panel, so you can be a remote dispatcher. You can also run all of the trains remotely. I have unplugged almost all of the cameras. If you remember last week, I was having internet issues. All the cameras are still unplugged, but there are cameras and stuff around the layout as well. So my dream is that the conductors are going to be local. So the conductors are going to be here. They're going to have the switch lists. They're going to be throwing turnouts, and they're going to be on the radio to the engineer, who will be remote, sitting in the cab of his locomotive, running the train as the conductor tells him to move forward or move back. He will have, a camera view to kind of see what's going on, but he'll really be relying on the conductor, just like in the prototype, for for moving around the layout. So I think that would be a lot of fun to do as well. Just witnessed a C-19 with caboose make it from Frying Pan to Maroon Creek. Milestone complete. Looking forward to seeing that video. Thomas Grassi says, I have a double slip on my JMRI panel. It works great too. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing you have to do with a double slip, and I'm saying this just so if you run into this, come ask me about it again, and I can help with it. But the way you set up the double slip here is that when I click this button here, on the right side, it's actually switching the left point. And when I click on the left button, it's actually switching the right point. And that's a little confusing. I've got a video out there on double slips. It's a little hard to understand, but yeah, to switch the train going from this side or this side, you switch the other side of the double. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, Lynn, I know. I get that as well. Dennis finally shows up. Welcome, Dennis. Overthink things. I never do that. I do still intend. I really want to do this. At some point when things settle down, I'll talk about what's been going on. But one of the things I do want to do is make some 2 to 3 minute videos that are kind of my insanity, my methodology, my thinking about various things in model railroading, how I came up with the ideas. I do overthink the things, but that's what I enjoy. That's what I enjoy as well, is kind of the overthinking. So Andy Estep says he's going to be eating at the Frying Pan tomorrow. I guess I might as well mention this. If you guys don't know, Andy and I are a part of a group called the Manhattan Modelers. You can go online and find it, but we actually have a postcard as well. But the Manhattan Modelers, we're actually meeting tomorrow night. If anybody's in this area and wants to meet up, send an email to myself or to Andy, and we'll get you connected up. But Andy and some other people we're gonna do a little historic railroad walk through New York City, going to Hudson Yards, going to, is it called Terminal Storage? It's not called Terminal Storage. It's called Terminal, I can't remember. We're going a couple of different things, and we're going to end our adventure on a boat called the Frying Pan as well. Visiting all the Manhattan Rail Marine Site. Roy, love to have you come visit. Just park and take the PATH train over. We'll take care of you. No, Lynn, really? How are you meeting Dave from Thunder Mesa? That is something Terminal Stores. There you go. That is something I'd love to do one day, is go out and see Dave Meek's little creative corner that he has established for himself out there. I really do definitely, not kind of, enjoy the stuff that he's doing. So we got a little distracted, but locations are definitely a big part of Ops Pro. It's really understanding how you want to, how you want things to move around your layout. And what really helps is really knowing the story that you want to tell. I don't know if people remember, I actually did this whole PDF on the layout. Do I have the whole PDF loaded up? I don't know that I have the whole PDF loaded still, but I did this whole thing on the layout, wrote down the story, a whole PowerPoint, and it's really helped me now. Now at this point that I'm actually trying to operate it, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Cameron, Dave Meeks is open a couple times a year. You can go to his website, Mesa Creek, and he has the schedule on there. My problem is from where I'm located, it's really far away. So fortunately not something that easy for me to just drop in on. I forget who. Somebody asked about the status of the cars. I haven't heard anything from Atlas. Last I heard from them, they still needed to do the artwork in order to provide me with a quote. If anybody's got any connections at Atlas that might be able to help me push it through, or know of some other company that might be able to make custom cars for me. I do have decals still that I'm sending out to people that want to make their own. So I did drop the paint colors on here so that people can see the different paint colors. Oh, here it is. So I do still have it. This was a presentation I did kind of talking about how, wow, look at this now. Like looking at this layout, boy, it looks so different. It's changed a lot since this version. This version had multiple levels and all kinds of other stuff. This was a really neat detail in the previous layout that didn't make it in the final cut. This did make it though. This area is getting modeled. This area is getting modeled, kind of, not really, but kind of. This is what changed the most, was this whole section. Basically all this basically got cut, and this got completely redone. I'm much happier with what I came up with. Yeah, Ron from New Haven Rails gave me one, and you're not going to make me try and find it right now, are you? I think it's that box right there. I know. Can you see it right there? No, probably not. Ron had some made from AccuRail and HO scale. My issue with AccuRail is that they don't do N scale. So I'm trying to find, ideally, a company that can, either two companies, one that'll do N, one that'll do HO. Ideally, I'd like to find one company that will be able to do both of them. Thomas, while you're here, did you see my latest, I think it was a Discord message. I can't remember if it was Discord or Messenger. I'm actually heading out that way in June, and I'm hoping to be able to meet up with Thomas and some of the other people from the Twin Cities division while I'm up there. Cascade Southern, I reached out to N-Scale, had a little back and forth with Eric Smith, the president. He is going to keep my information, but at this time, they are not doing any custom runs. So that's that. Just start to paint your own. I'm not that good. I'm just not that good. But yeah, they do a lot of custom stuff. I just think that they're, you know, they're busy right now. I thought about going to so CMR Products does actually print them, and I thought about having them print them, but it's really about the pad printing process, and it really is a process, and it's really the decaling and the painting and getting everything. I mean, you guys have seen, right? I mean, I showed you guys the photos. I mean, this is work that John 2618 RailServe John did, and it is just absolutely like stunning in N scale. I don't think I can come anywhere close to doing this quality of work, and I wouldn't want to sell the cars to people for the quality of work I can provide, and the amount of time it would take me, at least at this moment, to make them. Maybe. I think if I do a simpler design, I think I would definitely definitely consider it as well. Yeah, I thought about Otter Valley as well, or there, you know, there are other companies that work with manufacturers as well. Oh, Paul from PMP does great custom work. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know that. Yeah, somebody doing one at a time. Whew. Dwight's got some paint. Yeah, the if you go, here's the. Let me put this. Let me put this in somewhere here so that you guys have it. If you go to that, you can see all the photos of what John did. And so, wait, who's unemployed? Paul from PMP Trains is unemployed. I mean, he still has his store, right? Interesting that you say that. I just don't know Shane. I don't know Shane. I guess I don't really know anybody, right? I mean, that's the problem that I'm having is I'm too small of a somebody, and there are a lot of people doing much bigger runs, and you know, I don't blame them. The manufacturers, you know, would rather do the bigger runs. Yeah, I'm definitely going to weather the cars. I'll eventually get into weatherings. I am very far from being good at weathering, but yeah. I never did talk to Shane, and I talked to somebody else at Scale Trains, didn't talk to Shane. He is very approachable and always has 20 people surrounding him. But yeah, I mean, I know some people. Oh, Paula, his wife, runs the store. He did other things. Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, there you go. But yeah, John did a spectacular job as well. If people know, like, email me, let me know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got over 3,000 subs, but if you look on like Facebook, nobody knows who I am. And a lot of the custom stuff that's being made are people that have much bigger presences on Facebook. I really enjoy YouTube, though. I mean, I really enjoy the back and forth conversation of YouTube. I love the boy, were your ears ringing, John 2618? We've been talking to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get Atlas to. Atlas is being slow to respond. Rapido, I have to just deal with shipping stuff into the US, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, right? I did summon them. So, okay. I'm going to do it. There's still, it looks like 48 people here. Although, how is there 48 people here and only 30 likes? I don't get that. I am hoping that I'm going to get to see Mr. 2618 in July. I got to actually buy some plane tickets to make that happen. So, Jason Jensen started making kits. And this was the first kit that Jason Jensen sold. And I really wanted to support him. At the time, he was only making HO scale stuff. So I bought it anyway, just to support what he was up to. But since then, he started coming out with N scale stuff. So I've started buying his N scale stuff instead. So what I thought we would do is I thought I would give this away tonight. It's a pretty cool kit. Lynn, I think, has a video that he did, I think maybe showing the end result. But basically you get these two little shacks that you can kind of, you know, make them to be kind of whatever little shacks you want to make them. But it comes with some, you know, comes with some 3D printed parts. You get all the wood, you get the drawing, you get some signs and various things. But I just thought, like, I am likely not going to build this. I don't see myself building this. So I thought, wow, this is copy 2022. Did this really come out already? Yep, I agree. So here, let's do this. So we're gonna come in here. So the command when I start this is gonna be Jason Jensen. And we're gonna see how many people can spell Jason Jensen correctly. HO scale Jason Jensen kit. Okay. If there is anybody out there that does not know who Jason Jensen is, one, I will be shocked. But really good modeler, has a definite look to his style, but really shares like how he does what he's doing. And I know that there, like, a lot of people have really learned a lot watching his videos. So I'm a big supporter of what I up to. Very nice guy. I got to meet him when I was out in Colorado. Really just down to earth, nice guy. So yeah, so I want to pay this forward. We'll figure out how to get this kit shipped to somebody. I'm looking around because of course I don't have any padded mailers right now, but I'll figure it out. So we started it up, another 5 minutes, 30 seconds. You should get a response. If you do not get a response, you probably spelled something wrong. Start entering now and we'll see what happens. But yeah, neat kit. So the new kit that I got, I don't know if, let's see if I can find it here real quick. So here's the new Jason Jensen kit that I got. That this is not the one I'm giving away, but I'm very excited about this one. N scale, tugboat and barge. My hope is that I will be able to fit this kind of next to or somehow over on my water seam, because I think it would just be a nice addition kind of to that scene. He actually came out with this one in N scale first, which I was kind of surprised by, but yeah, it is now available in HO scale. Also comes with some 3D printed parts and some other nice detail. He's got a great video on assembling this kit as well. So this is an upcoming project. This is an upcoming project as well. This bridge here. We're gonna see how this is gonna go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're just kits, right? So I can always buy another one if I completely screw them up. Both of those companies are still in business, so you never know how it's gonna go for me. Sparky, you're still spelling his name wrong. No space for people that are putting spaces in it. There is no space. Split Rock has spelled Jason's last name incorrectly. A lot of people spell his last name incorrectly. That's kind of why I'm making people spell it correctly, because it kind of helps. So I'm going to read off the names. If you don't hear your name and you want to be entered, please drop it. Sure, Derek, ask away. We'll see. Let's see if somebody has it. Adam Cruz, Grandpa Rails, Cameron, Wigwag, Ed, Cascade, David, Andy, Dwight, Lynn, Derek, Ron, Thomas, Dennis, Sparky, Model Train Reviews, Ron Moen. If anybody else wants to be in it and hasn't entered, jump in now. You need to hit exclamation point in front of it. Jason Jensen. We've got 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Let's see, yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. Who is, let's see, Derek, did you ask your question? I'm looking for it. I think the company went out of business that you were going to use. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. Well, I guess it is the way it is, right? Mr. Split Rock has gotten the last name correct and has now been entered. Barry, are you entered? I don't know why. Is it just me? But Barry's name isn't popping up. But it looks like he spelled it correctly. Oh, Jansen. Barry, it's Jensen. Last name, Jensen. Let's see. Did Randy get in? Randy, I think no space between the exclamation point and the J. I think you've got a space in there, maybe. It's all one thing like this. Robert just got dropped in there as well. Derek, did you ask your question? If you did, I missed it. Oh, here it is. Looking for an HO scale IHC 650 ton Cheyenne coal bunker. Anyone that has that, please let them know. If people don't know, IHC is a company no longer around, I don't think. International Hobby Company, I think is what they stand for. I've got a bunch of their rolling stock, a bunch of different stuff as well. 1 minute left, less than 1 minute. Figure out who the winner is. Remember, if you win, you have to hit exclamation point claim. Let's see if people can hit enough likes that we can maybe get up to 50 likes, because that would be a good way to end this as well. Yeah, the IHC kits are older, but they're still... Oh, is that what it is? International Harvester Company? I thought it was International Hobby. That'd be cool if it was International Harvester. Randy, no space between the exclamation point. No spaces. All one word. I've got a bunch of IHC kits up there. Various carnival ride stuff that they used to do. 7 seconds, we're going to see who the winner is. Whoever the winner is, you need to hit exclamation point claim as well. And we need 4 more people to hit the darn like button as well. Ron Moen! Ron Moen, you had... Not you, JD. Ron Moen needs to hit exclamation point claim. He's got 60 seconds when this countdown counts down and hits 0. If he doesn't, there we go. Ron claimed it. Ron, send me a message. Send me your, send me your shipping information. Send it all over to me. If people have any more questions about like the rail fanning adventure or about Ops Pro, I know I didn't get very far into the Ops Pro stuff, but you know, I'm working with it. I'm having fun with it. It's really been a lot of fun. Good time. Anyway, it's been a long day. I need to wrap today up and go take my dog for a walk and see how things go from there. From the city that never sleeps. Why don't we go to this? From the city that never sleeps. Farewell, model citizens.